We have analyzed 3,200 hours worth of data about Cristiano Ronaldo, anything that he ever said or done. These include long form interviews, conversations, podcasts, critics, statistics, testimonials from the team members, and so many other media and platforms. And we've translated all this information into 10 subconscious patterns which are responsible for building one of the most successful human that ever existed on the face of this planet. So Ronaldo's net worth currently is $1.4 billion. And if you take 10% of what I shared with you today and just adopt 10% worth of subconscious programming and patterns and shifting in your self-perception, your identity, you will reap the benefit of 140 million, which is 10% of 1.4 billion. But let's say you get everything wrong, you completely mess it up, and you can only embody 1% of this information. In that case, it is 14 million. So the worst case ROI of this work is 14 million. So this is the highest ROI video that you will ever watch. Hi, I'm Anam Hayat, the go-to identity mentor for CEOs and executives in the boardrooms and 1% of visionaries, cultural icons, celebrities, to help them break through the income ceilings and activate their limitless potential and become the top 0.0001% in their industry. I did not start here. When I started my business, I tried so many mindset hacks, visualizations, affirmations, and none of them seemed to work. That's when I was told that you're not taking massive action. You have to take a lot of action. And I started on this journey to find the perfect strategy that will work for me and help me quantum leap and translate my vision into reality. 8 strategies later, I achieved some results, but nothing near to what I was dreaming about. And that's when I uncovered this crazy thing. Your income ceiling is not in your mind, it's in your body. Your body keeps the score of your income. So what controls 98% of your result is your identity. And mindset is the part of the identity, but your identity lives in your body. It starts in the mind, it starts as a thought, it becomes a subconscious program, and then it becomes an unconscious program which lives in your body. And the system that connects your mind to your body is your nervous system. So your mind, your body, and your nervous system makes up your identity, which controls 98% of your results. When I uncovered this, my results started to change like night and day. And I start talking about this. I start sharing this information. And what I found was that there were so many people in the mindset space or very strategy oriented. And in both the camps, they were struggling because they did not have this missing piece of the puzzle. As a result, this information spread like wildfire. And I started offering one-to-one identity makeover sessions. I used to do 8 sessions every day, which means 8 hours of constant sitting. As a result, I started to have back problems, and 500 sessions later, I had to really stop. What started to emerge was this universal pattern, this identity logarithm, where I started to see the connection and how people were doing certain things as a result of certain programming. What we called self-sabotage was a nervous system loop. What we called absolute confidence, knowing, and faith was a regulated nervous system. And the greatest thing that I found was that anything that you're experiencing in your life is a result of this identity code that you are currently operating with. And there is nothing personal. You can change it. You can just change it. You can absolutely change it. So without further ado, I would love to share the 10 identity codes that are behind Ronaldo's extreme success, and you can embody them starting today. The first one, which sets him apart from the peers in his industry, is the self-belief of excellence. So Ronaldo has said this in various interviews and various conversations that I am the best. In my mind, I am the best. Now you might think, oh yeah, he is the best, so of course he's going to say that. But he did not start believing this when he became the best. He believed that he is the best, and he started to embody that identity. So What it means for you is, what is the best of you? So whatever you're doing in your industry, in your field, what is the best version of you? How would the best of you think, feel, operate? How would they show up? What kind of things they would focus on, and what kind of things they would completely release? What kind of activities and things they would get involved? What kind of actions they would take? What kind of ideas would they operate with? What kind of skills would they have? What is really the best of you? The best of you already exists within you. When you start to focus on that, when you start to create that image and think about that and extract that version within you, it gets activated and it takes over. There is a bit of a nuance to this identity, the best of you, because when you're embodying the best of you, you are going all in your vision, and you're saying that you have burnt all the ships and there is no going back. Now, with this, there is a childhood wound of disappointment. What if you go all in your vision? What if you start to see the best of you? What if you absolutely believe, but then it doesn't work out and you feel disappointed? So a lot of people, from the fear of disappointment, never go all in and just always dip their toes in the water, but never fully jump, because in case they did, in case they opened their heart and gave it all and did it all and it did not work out, they would feel that they were wrong, and they would feel a little bit disappointed and probably feel stupid. Why did I do that? Like normally we say, don't keep your hopes up. Now, the way I coach my clients around this is, if you are not going all in, if you're not really doing what you want to do, you are already disappointed. So the thing they're trying to avoid from going all in, from activating the best of you, from holding your grandest vision, is you are already experiencing if you're not doing that. The question for you is, what is the best of you in whatever you're doing right now? Are you seeing yourself as a beginner, as somebody who's starting out, as somebody who's trying really hard, or you already are the best? How does the best of you think, operate, approach things, take decisions, see themselves? What kind of thoughts they think, what kind of feelings they have, what is their inner talk, what kind of things they get involved in, and what kind of things they have released in their life because they don't serve them anymore, in what kind of skills they see themselves as incredible and they operate with full confidence. And when you start asking yourself these questions and go really deep in that, you start to activate and resurrect this version of you who is the best of you. And when you focus on that version gets solidified, and that version takes over and is responsible for all your greatest results. The next neural pattern that Ronaldo has created, he has converted his scarcity into greatness. So while scarcity can break a lot of people, he got to that point in her life where he hit rock bottom. Youngest of all, having an alcoholic father, being expelled from school, and then leaving home at the age of 14 and living in dorm room, kids making fun of his accent, making fun of how he looks. He had no choice but to turn all his pain into his greatness. And what he does is, anytime when something puts him down, he transmutes it into his fuel, into his power. Now, a lot of my clients ask me this: for me to build this trait, do I have to hit rock bottom and then I can do that? And what I tell them is, absolutely not. What you start to realize is that anytime something that puts you down, you process it, you release your emotions, and you use it to stimulate you. Because if something is so bad and if something is displeasing, why do you want to stay there? So turning your scarcity into your greatness gives you that absolute strength, because good things will always build you, will always help you propel forward. But when the bad things also propel you forward, there is nothing on this planet that can break you. The other thing that Ronaldo leverages really well is turning pressure into excitement. So while a lot of people can break into pressure as a result of regulated nervous system, what you can do is you can use this pressure to excite you, to motivate you, to show you that you are important. That's why you're going through that. Pressure is a sign from universe that I want to give you more and I want to increase your capacity. And one of the most powerful ways to increase your capacity is through pressure. So creating that pattern where you take pressure and it turns into excitement. Now you must be wondering, you're telling me these identities and these codes, but how do I embody them? How do I take them and immediately shift how I see myself and my identity and my subconscious pattern? And I have a beautiful gift for you. So in the description of this training, what I've got is my 21-minute signature training where I show you how to take any identity, any subconscious pattern and embody it instantly and change your identity, change how you see you instantly. Because the beauty is you're not trying to change anything about you. You're just changing the way you see you. You're helping new neurons to wire together. So when they fire together, they wire together and they build a new pattern. So there is nothing about you that is something that you cannot change, you cannot shift. The fourth one, he has anchored his identity into certain rituals. So what he does is he follows series of rituals that help him re-anchor into who he is, his excellence. So he has ritualized his excellence. What I mean is he goes for training, he goes for dieting, he goes for sauna therapy. He does a series of things that help him reinforce. And now those things have become unconscious pattern. And the way you want to see it is that when an idea from a conscious mind to subconscious to becomes unconscious, it's something you do because of who you are, not something you're trying or striving to achieve. So when you wake up in the morning, there are certain things you do and you don't even think about them. They are now your unconscious pattern. Similarly, he has turned those rituals into his unconscious pattern. And my signature 21-minute training can teach you how to do that immediately. The fifth identity that he has taken is he uses hate as a fuel. So one of the things that he lives by is your love makes me strong, but your hate makes me unstoppable. So he can turn doubts into gasoline, hate into oxygen, and criticism into fuel. And when you can take the negativity and use it to fuel you, then everything outside of you turns into your power. And there is a core identity underneath that. And the identity is there is nothing outside of you that will increase your self-worth even by 0.00001%. So there is nothing outside of you that will make you a better person. Once you realize you're born worthy and nothing has changed, that's when everything turns into power because it's coming from this utmost knowing of who you are. The other thing that Ronaldo is really good is evolution, which is number 6. He is constantly evolving. He is not stopping. There is no place where he says, okay, you know what, I made it. Because the moment you stop evolving, you're actually going backwards because everything in this planet is expanding. The space is expanding 3% every single year, despite of the fact that we don't even know 98% of what's in this universe. So if you are not growing, if you're not expanding, you are going backwards. Self-competition. Ronaldo only focuses on being better than he was yesterday. So his thing is that I want to be a better person than the person who went to sleep last night. A lot of times, especially in the entrepreneurial journey, we start to compete or start to look at other people and sometimes use that to feel small or sometimes use that to see what the other person is doing. But the truth is, the more you focus on yourself and the more you focus on your lane, the more you tap into your limitless power, because the only person who can get in your way is you. The 8th trait that Ronaldo has is obsession. He is obsessed with what he does. A lot of people see obsession as negative, but when you are so obsessed with what you're doing, work turns into play and every level seems to be so exciting. The 9th trait that makes Ronaldo unbreakable is the emotional regulation. Your emotions are creating all the time. Your emotions determine what you're attracting in your life and how you are acting. If you have the power to regulate your emotions, that means no emotions take control over you. In fact, you can, in a very regulated way, process them and then think from the place of where you're going. So, a lot of times, what people experience is when something happens in their outside, it impacts them. It impacts their belief in themselves. It impacts how they are seeing themselves. And that is not thinking, that is mental activity because you are letting the outside stimulus impact where you're going. And Bernard Shaw, the famous psychologist, said 95% people rather die than think. 3% people think that they think, and only 2% people actually think. But when you know how to regulate your emotions in such a way that negative emotions do not have power over you, and that doesn't mean switching your emotions, what it means is that you process them, you feel them, and you release them from your body. That's when you are actually thinking. The 10th trait that makes Ronaldo who he really is his resilience. When he was 15 years old, he suffered this heart condition and he had to go through immediate heart surgery. And at that time, his sport and everything was at question. While all the things that he was building in his life to get to where he is right now was a big question mark. And he still did not let go of his vision. So, when you understand what I'm about to tell you about resilience, you will be able to develop absolute bulletproof resilience. Anytime you experience contrast in your life, you have to remember that contrast is the biggest enabler of your vision because it gives you that emotional capacity, the capacity to hold the success that you are desiring to achieve. So, contrast, it doesn't mean that you're going in the opposite direction or there is anything wrong with you. What it means is that you are very close to achieving what you want. So, what I teach my clients is that anytime you're experiencing contrast, it's time to celebrate, it's time to embrace. It's the biggest sign that what you're desiring, it's next. So, these are the 10 identity codes that are responsible for the richest footballer ever existed in the history of humankind. Let me know which identity code resonated with you the most. And if you want to take them and embody them today, immediately, then you want to grab my 21-minute training to help you take any identity code and shift your identity straight away so that you can become a match for inconceivable wealth. I will see you soon. Bye.